Welcome in, everyone. Welcome back to the Leblockcast, the podcast where we talk everything hockey and football. Today on the docket, we have we're talking about some Kotkaniemi, some Sens and Jets talk. We got some great guests on today to talk about that. We're going to do two games and a prospect debate and an advanced stats debate. So first of all, I'm always joined by my lovely co-host, Riley Stanton.
Glad to be here.
I'm joined by TikTok sensation, Phil.sens.
Yes, sir. Happy to be here.
And I am joined by Alyssa from the Centric podcast.
That's me.
Well, anyway, I think we should get right into it and talk about this offer sheet. Riley, were you shocked?
I was, because I didn't think they would be that petty, but I love it. I'm surprised they're offering 6.1, as I don't think he's worth that at all. But for 1 year, it's not that bad. But it's basically just a glorified, more expensive rental, is how I'm phrasing it. But I think Montreal's in a pickle here. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good move by Carolina, honestly. You can never have enough centers, because center depth is how you win in the playoffs.
It's hilarious, to be honest. Like, the troll is perfect right now, changing their bio to French, posting the reverse card. And I mean, I live in Quebec, so I speak French. My entire For You page is Habs fan talking about how he betrayed them. 6.1 million isn't betrayal. Like, I'm going to take it too. So yeah, the Habs are in a pickle. It's not a good situation to be in, but I just love the troll. Seeing Habs fan mad make me happy. So
it's just so interesting too, because again, like like you said, Riley, like 6.1 seems like a ridiculously steep price for him. And like, if I'm Montreal, like the odds of a first round pick being better than him is probably pretty high. So like, I would be willing to take that gamble, but also he's pretty young, and Montreal, like they fired their coach. I'm kind of a bit of a Dominic Ducharme hater. That's kind of like one of my things. So like, I do think he will thrive elsewhere, especially under someone like Brind'Amour. But again, 6.1, and then like you said, it's like a rental basically. So I don't know. It's really weird, but I just wish offer sheets happen more in the NHL. I love them. I think they're so fun. I love how messy they get. Like, I just wish there were more of them. So I love the move.
yeah, there's just nothing happening right now. So we just needed something.
Yeah,
exactly. Thank you, Carolina.
I remember
somebody make a trade.
I remember when I saw Kotkaniemi get 6.0, I'm like, okay, if he's worth 6.1, Tkachuk must be worth 12 million then.
Yeah,
right.
Or
Like,
more.
I think Tkachuk should probably sign for just north of that, and he is a lot better than Kotkaniemi. Like,
Yeah. He's gonna get the Svechnikov deal.
But
Yeah,
I have a feeling though that Montreal's gonna match. I just have a weird feeling that no, this is Bergevin.
I think they will, because they have no center. Unless they try to make a big trade for Christian Dvorak, I think like they have no one. They want to maybe move Jordan to be their second line center.
I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable running Jake Evans at second line center.
Yeah.
Just make sure he's not playing Mark Scheifele.
anyway.
But I don't think that, like, because Montreal, if they match it, they're still $2 million over the cap, which also kind of screws them over. And I think James told me that you can't trade offer sheet assets. Like, you can't trade those picks.
I think I was wrong about that, actually. So Kotkaniemi can't be traded for a full year. That's what that is.
Okay.
For sure, the conversation you can still say that. But even if Arizona is offering up Dvorak, they're gonna like, yeah, we want your first rounder. We don't want Carolina's first rounder.
No.
Carolina is already better than Montreal right now.
And Montreal's gonna miss the playoffs.
Easily.
So
yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Low enough.
I also think that the NHL GMs are so like invested in the sunken cost fallacy. Like, they refuse to admit when their players aren't as good as they want them to be. So I feel like if the Montreal Canadiens let Kotkaniemi walk, that's basically them standing up there, putting their hands up and saying, yeah, this guy's not that good. And NHL GMs hate doing that with their own players. So I feel like they're going to match it, but I really don't know.
Yeah, especially because your third round pick. No, not third round, third overall pick. You don't want to let him go.
The higher the pick, the more stubborn they are.
I mean,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%,
exactly.
Yeah.
Look at how we were with Trouba. Look at how long it took us to move him, right? Like, and how stubborn we were to move him.
Well,
like,
you don't want to move that, except unless his name is Patrick Laine, and you write him off the second you get him, and you're like, oh, he's never going to okay, whatever.
Yeah.
GMs are very stubborn because look at Logan Brown. Like, Logan Brown, like,
Oh,
Yep.
if he wasn't in just 11 overall pick, he was gone like a long time ago.
Yeah, like Pierre. I don't think Pierre made the Logan Brown pick. I think that was Brian Murray's last pick before he resigned.
Could have been.
And
Not
like,
sure.
and he refuses to Jordan refuses to give up on Logan Brown. He's still gonna bring him back in, and he's still saying, "Oh, this guy can't compete." But we've seen year and year after it where he's stuck in the minors or he doesn't make the team.
Yeah, I mean it's not just that he's stuck in the minors, but when he does play and he's not injured, I feel like he's lazy on the ice. He doesn't have this energy that you want a player to have, especially if you want to be in the NHL. And yeah, I think we could. I can really see DJ putting him at the second line center, moving Pinto in the third line, and just seeing if he can stay healthy, if he can bring this energy to the Ottawa Senators, maybe he can stay there. We're gonna give him a 1-year extension for sure, but yeah,
I think it's his 1 year prove it. Like if he doesn't make the team, I think
make our
he's
break.
gone.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you. Actually, you mentioned Pinto, and like, hey, I don't know a lot about the Sens, like their prospects and stuff like that, but I feel like if you're gonna play Shane Pinto in your third line, you might as well just give him a full year in the minors or something like that. Would that make sense to put him on your third line?
I mean, I've had this debate multiple times. I think Pinto playing second line center, people say, "Oh, are you concerned?" I'm not concerned about that at all. If he plays second line center, that's great development for him because he thrived in the NCAA. But if I'm putting him on the fourth line or the third line, I might as well just put him in the AHL on the first line.
Exactly, 100%.
But the only thing is,
way people are like, we're pretty top heavy, and people are like, "Oh yeah, bring in Cole Perfetti and play him on the third line." It's like, absolutely not. You're not playing what could be your future 1C against the likes of like freaking Jujhar Khaira and Devin Shore every night. Like it's not gonna work. Like putting them in those checking roles just doesn't make sense when they're top 6 scoring talent.
Look at Vesalainen.
Vesalainen is 100%. That's actually
prime.
Producer Clark left a comment on James' TikTok about Vesalainen. So
yeah,
I know I'm going off your agenda here quickly, but maybe I'll just derail and throw it to Riley to talk about that.
Yeah, but going back to Shane Pinto, my only worry is he just came out of college, and on an 82 game season, I don't know if he can stay on the second line consistently and play big minutes with guys like Stützle. I think he's gonna have to move down to the third line or maybe even Belleville at some point, and maybe that's when we're going to see Logan Brown or just move Colin White back to center because I think he should be a right wing. But it's going to be interesting to see what DJ thinks about Shane Pinto for next season.
Yeah, but that Stützle Pinto Brown line popped off last year. End of the year, that line just went crazy.
I too would be really good if I got to play with Shane Pinto and Tim Stützle. So
it's great because you have Stützle, great offensive player. Shane Pinto, for a 21-year-old player, his defensive game is just amazing. Good positioning. He's smart. He can block shot. Maybe he needs to improve in the faceoff circle, but I mean, he was good in college, but like the NHL is a different league totally. So I think it's going to get better next season. And Connor Brown he literally does everything. He can play defense on the PK power play, score goals, be a playmaker. He can do anything. So I really like this line, but I'm just not sure if Shane Pinto can be playing with them consistently on an 82 game schedule.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like I said, I wouldn't be opposed to him being in the minors at all. I know the Sens are still trying to acquire a center or a winger too, because we have a lot of young guys coming in, and like I know Norris at 1C is guaranteed for sure. But if you can get a guy like on the wing, at least Hurdle, if you can get a guy like Hurdle or Meyer on the wing, then that'll really help out. But you need to get like a number 2C or number 1C, because I think Norris still can develop into a number 1C if he's playing behind somebody.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Norris would probably be good in a 1-2 punch, eh? Like, you can't be the carrying 1C. You probably need to give him because you shouldn't put any guy in there when he's how old is Josh Norris? 22?
21, 22.
I think he's 21.
Yeah, okay. So you can't put any 22-year-old, unless their name is Connor McDavid, and put them in your first line center and give them no supporting cast. So I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, some names I've seen, like there was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins before he got signed, which would have been great for you guys.
Oh yeah,
James, you were talking a lot about Kadri.
Yeah, I was mentioning Kadri a lot because I think with the way the Sens play physical. They want to I think we led the league in hits for the first half of the season with this team. And I think the way we play physical, we will outwork you, we'll hit you in the mouth. I think that's exactly what Kadri brings to the table as a number 1 or number 2C.
Especially in the playoffs, he'll hit you directly in the mouth with his shoulder.
But he just comes in with the jokes every single time.
Yeah. But he fits the system, so I think I love that move. I think that would be a good move. I don't know if I don't know if Colorado would be willing to give him up though.
Yeah.
Colorado
Well, as we
have gotten worse this offseason, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, but there has
on
been
their
so many
preach.
rumors about the top 4 defensemen or just the center or like Kadri and everything. There's been so many rumors, but nothing happening. It feels like every single day you were seeing a Sens post about from Bruce Garrioch saying we're in on a trade for Dvorak, for Kadri, for Claude Giroux, for everyone, but just nothing was happening. And I think that's just because last offseason was a disaster. Guys like Coburn, Paquette, Godbranson, Stepan, they're all gone right now.
Yeah,
Like,
the only move that worked out was Watson.
exactly. Like everyone is gone. The offseason was an absolute
Zoom.
mess. And I think we're going to stay calm this summer. And next summer, we're going to get our Dougie Hamilton. I think the Devils they made their big free agent signing to get from rebuild to playoff success team to a playoff success team. And I think we're going to do that next offseason. We're just going to have to see if Milnick is going to want to pay actually big money for a player, because in free agency, you have to overpay.
So I think
I don't know how good the New Jersey Devils are now, but like with 3 player acquisitions with Ryan Graves, Dougie Hamilton, and Thomas Tatar, they turned from one of the bottom 5 teams in the league to possibly making the playoffs. Like, no, I don't think they're going to win a Stanley Cup with just those 3 additions, but like adding a little bit of star power has never hurt anybody. And like, yeah.
They still have a lot of good young players. Their defense has got a whole lot stronger, older, and you have guys like Jack Hughes didn't even have his breakout year yet. So Devils are going to be a scary team the next 5 to 10 years.
I just want to say bringing in a bunch of guys can work out, but it also could be a disaster.
Yeah,
you don't know how those guys are going to gel in. Like let's say you bring in Tatar doesn't gel with the team, and neither does Graves. Then you're going to have the Devils are going to struggle.
Yeah, for sure.
True, it's true. Yeah.
But this offseason was different than the previous ones, because this offseason they actually drafted players for the future and guys that aren't expected to make the NHL right away.
Mm-hmm.
And because they didn't draft number 1 or near that, like where you're getting NHL talent, you've got guys that going to take time, develop, and mold into good players.
I would argue that no one drafted any NHL talent in this draft.
That's the point. Like, exactly.
Yeah.
And now that they actually have players that are going to be taking their time, like they're actually in a great spot, and they're still led by a criminally underrated goalie in Blackwood.
So true. Yeah,
for sure.
Anyways, going to loop this back on track.
I was going to say one more thing. Going back to this draft, like you said, there's no NHL talent like right now. This is one of the weakest drafts it's been in years. So the rookie of the year race is going to be a lot more diluted, I think.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to put it down here. The rookie of the year is not going to be someone who was drafted this year. 100%.
No, it's not going to be. I think the Sens, they saw that it was a weak draft, so they took a chance. They wanted Tyler Boucher, big physical guy, going to be really useful in the playoff. Let's just take him. Let's not wait till the second round. I don't care if like everyone is going to be mad and just like we're the worst drafting team. We're going to get our guy. We're going to trust him, and until he proves me wrong, I'm going to like him.
This was the year to do that, though, right?
Yeah,
like there are a lot of years where it's like you can't let like a first round talent walk at pick 15. But this year, literally every single guy in the first round was like a pick 20 in a good year. Like they were all like pretty mediocre. So it's like might as well pick for what you need, right? So I 100% get what they were doing.
Yeah.
I think like the best talent in the draft was actually Waldstad.
Yeah.
Me and James were both screaming out our TVs during our live stream when we just didn't take him, because every single pick, all right, Waldstad. It's finally returned. Tyler, who we were so disappointed.
If you were there on live stream, it was just
yeah. No,
Wallstedt and Eklund were like, they should have been the friggin' top 2 picks. Like obviously Owen Power is, whatever, but like I think they're both better than him.
I'm surprised Gunther dropped to 9. Because if he got him at 10, I think I would have been happy with there. But like, I just think this year's draft strategy for the Sens was fuck you or taking who I want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that, honestly.
But like in the end though, I love the Boucher pick. At the end of the day, like after I calmed down, like this isn't that half bad of a pick.
Yeah, I feel like we don't really need Wallstad right now.
Yeah,
seeing guys like Merlinen and Sogard coming up, I think we're good with Boucher.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I don't do like draft like grades, because you can't grade a draft right after it happened.
No,
Gotta
it's
wait
like
at least like 3
people
years.
are like, oh, who won the trade 5 minutes after the trade happened? It's like, nobody, because neither player has played for the team yet. Like it's a bit of a moot point because you can't judge it.
Right.
No,
Especially when picks are involved. When draft picks are involved, you
Yeah.
have to wait 100%. You can't evaluate it or grade it.
like in the
you're
Eric Carlson
evaluating-
trade.
Pardon me? Oh yeah.
Eric
Carlson
Carlson.
trade, yeah.
Tim Stutzla, like it was expected to be like between 20 and 32, but then the Sharks had a horrible season, and we got Timmy Superstar. Yeah, exactly.
But Alyssa, imagine having to care about goaltending prospects. Couldn't be us, right? Like,
no, exactly.
No, not us.
Unless Connor Hellbuck walks away from us because he hates our team, I wouldn't blame him. But
Please stay, Helly. We actually give you a defense this year. Please stay.
Going back to the draft, I just want to ask you, Jets fans, how do you think the Jets did in this draft?
They took the guy who fell to them. Like, I don't know. I always struggle with people always talk about how the Jets draft so well. Every single one of their first round picks in the last like 7 years has fallen to them. Like, people are like, oh, they took Kyle Connor in 2015. Kyle Connor was projected like 9th. Like, Boston was stupid for not taking it. Like, so I liked our pick, and I loved the gambles that we took. Dmitry Kuzmin is such a weird pick, but I love it. It's super high reward with low risk, right? So it's like, it's a late round pick. If it turns into nothing, it turns into nothing. That's what happens with most late round picks. But if it doesn't, you have your little freaking superstar. Oh, like, it's awesome. Same thing with Chibrikov. Like, I like their picks a lot this year.
I'm going to just keep going with what you said. Like, we don't trade up or make a lot of draft day trades. We just wait and then we get our guy. And I saw this stat. It's like from our 2015 class, almost every one of our players that we drafted that year played for our team. And that was
Jansen Harkins, Michael
Roslovic,
Connor. Like there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, and Chevy's track record of drafting, like we only had 4 picks this year. That was probably one of the fewest in the league, if I believe. And we crushed all 4 of them, I feel. Now it's a wait and see process. It's weird because we never really draft Russians. We don't draft Russians. We avoid them like a plague. We draft Finnish players, like we're Finnipeg.
No, and we're American players. We draft so many Americans, specifically Minnesota-born players, but like we draft a lot of Americans.
Yeah,
actually,
no Russians.
We also draft a lot of Americans. United Sens of America. So
yeah, no accents too.
That could be a good song name.
But yeah, I'm actually really jealous of Chaz Lucius. Like,
Lucius! Oh my god, I want. That was one of the guys on my board. Like, I want this kid. I'm like,
yeah.
I want to. His name is Chaz. Like, take him.
I was
that name alone.
Only thing I don't.
Brewery. Like there was like a bunch of like my podcast people and like some of our Twitter friends. We all just went to like one of our local breweries and watched the draft or whatever. And like by the end of the night, like everything was like our big thing was like Chaz hands. We're like, ooh, Chaz, and then we're like, oh, Chaz Matsu. Like everything, we're just like Chaz everything. It was so funny.
Yeah, because the only thing I didn't like about the Sens draft was going for grit instead of talent.
Yeah,
because Chaz Lucius, his offensive talents are just great. He's going to be an NHLer for sure. He's going to make the Jets offense even better than it already is. And
he's a mini Kyle Connor. That's exactly what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's going to be great, and I think he's going to be a center too. So I'm kind of jealous of him. But yeah, we're going to see just like James said, we're going to wait at least 3 years, and maybe Tyler Boucher is going to be even better than Lucius. You never know.
Well, the thing is, Boucher,
we're going to trust Trent Mann.
The thing is with Boucher is that Boucher got injured, and the sense because he was in early boards, he was up there. You look back at like boards from like like January. He was up there. He was in the first round. He was in the top 15, and then he got hurt, and then he got COVID, and then So I think I don't hate the pick.
It's the Hendrix Lapierre factor, right? Like he was like a top 10 pick, and then he had head injuries, and it's like all of a sudden Washington's picking him up in the late 20s or something. It's like the injuries, especially when it's such a young kid, the sample size is so small already. So if you lose half a season to injuries, you're gonna be knocked down no matter what. Like
that's why I think Lucius fell to you guys. Because Lucius, I think he tore his ACL. I'm not
He's
sure.
got injury problems a little bit.
Well, I saw reports that it actually his injury made his skating better because he didn't just go for rehab, but also injury prevention. Yeah. So his lower body just got completely re-coordinated and everything. Like he had to learn how to walk.
We can rebuild. We have the technology.
It's kind of hard to say like that early who was the steal of the draft, but this year, I think it's got to be Aturati. Like 52 to the Islanders. The kid scored 4 goals in his first game after the draft. Like the kid is absolutely insane, and it just doesn't make sense that no one took him before. I know he's probably got like attitudes problem, and maybe we don't know what's happening in the locker rooms or with the coaching staff and everything, but the kid is a good hockey player for sure.
Yeah.
I've never understood why that plays such a big part in when people draft. Like, that kid is 18 years old. You send him into a room of grown men, they're going to whip him into shape in about 5 minutes. Like, I'm pretty sure you can figure that out.
And if they can't, then that's your leadership core is bad if they can't.
Exactly.
And he's an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid. Like
I understand with with Chibrikov, like one of our picks, like apparently he he's really happy in Russia and he's got like a standing offer for a KHL club, whatever. So it's like, that's a bit different. But if it's like, oh, like he's kind of a dick, it's like, okay, you know what? I bet you freaking any 35-year-old vet on one of those teams could probably talk some sense into him. So
yeah, because players got to grow.
Mm.
Anyways, carry on.
Yeah, I think James asked one question so far.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is true for Chevy, but I know Pierre does not draft kids who have attitude problems. Like, he steers clear from it. Like, if any, so example, that's why I knew, I was like, oh, Lysell. I remember Brett that sense when he told me, oh, Lysell. I'm like, Lysell has a huge attitude problem, so there's no way we're going to take him. That's why we passed on Zadina in 2018 as well.
Zadina's got problems.
Zadina coming out of the draft had a serious attitude problem.
Oh.
Because the quote is, he said this quote to the media that Ottawa just turned him off. He said to Montreal, if I'm in Ottawa and you pass on me, I'm putting pucks in your net.
Yeah.
And that came out to the media, and Pierre's like, yeah, we're not taking this kid.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people, not you guys specifically, but I think a lot of like some people just kind of mix up like having confidence with having attitude problems too. Like that was the Patrick Laine thing. First of all, he's speaking in his second language at all times. And second of all, like, he literally just knows that he's a good goal scorer. And like, he's playing with like the likes of like a slightly washed up Brian Little, while the corpse of Blake Wheeler is playing with Mark Scheifele. And he's like, I want to play with better players. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's the worst. It's like, what do you want him to say? That he's happy playing with mediocre line mates when there are shittier guys that are playing better minutes than him? Like, I don't understand why that's like a really big deal to people in NHL players. Like, people are like, I don't want to touch Patrick Laine because he's got a terrible attitude. Like, what? I never got that, but anyway.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I really respect players who like are open and honest about like what their situation in the media. Like, I don't like if they're like calling out their teammates, like that happens all the time though. Like, even like leaders call out their own teammates in press. Like, it's not uncommon.
I know, it's just like one of those things where people are like, we want NHL players to have more personality, and then they do, and you're like, not like that. And it's like, well,
exactly.
What do you want?
Yeah.
Look at all the flack Subban got for just even having a personality.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, the word. Like, people were so. He was literally the only fun NHL player for like 5 years, and then people were so.
Still is.
He still is kind of the only fun NHL player.
I only didn't like Subban because he's on Montreal, but other than that, I love PK Subban. He was.
I hated him when he was in Nashville.
Like,
so we're kind of opposite, James.
Think about all the charitable work he's done in Montreal, and like, I really respect him for that.
Yeah,
and
he's
like,
a great guy.
He was still doing it after he left there because he had those connections and stuff like that. Like, that, he's a good man. Like, that is a good dude, and people are like,
And I think he's just a good leader. He's gonna bring good vibes in the locker room. He's a great guy to have in your team. Maybe not with like things like his contract, and he's kind of fallen off, but he's still a guy you want on your team for sure.
He's a guy you want to go get a beer with.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I would happily grab a beer with PK Subban, not just because he's PK Subban, but he seems like a nice guy.
So I'm gonna spread these out over the episode, but we're gonna get to our first community question, and it's from.
Let's get into it.
It's actually from producer Clark.
Oh.
Vesalainen, where do you see him fitting this year, and will he ever fit in this lineup?
Alyssa, I'll let you handle this one first.
At least
then
in
I'll
the
go.
next 2 years.
Okay, this is such a loaded question, guys. Like, I'm literally the worst. Like, I'll talk for hours and hours about. So, for example, this one goes so much deeper than Christian Vesalainen. Like, my issue is that we have a coach in Paul Maurice who reminds me of a football coach. He kind of just walks in and he's like, "This is the way I'm playing my team, kind of like it or not, almost." And I feel like so. We've been playing the same kind of systems, whatever, since 2014 when he came in. And someone like Christian Vesalainen is not a bottom six guy. That's a top six guy. And we have a lot of top six. Basically, we have like 9 guys on our roster right now that should be and could be playing top 6 minutes. So what do you do there? You run 3 scoring lines. If you can do that, that's what you do. But we try and mold guys to fit these roles. Andrew Kopp probably wasn't supposed to be a checking forward, but they're like, oh, there's no room for him in the top six, so we're going to mold him to fit another role. And I've never really understood that. And I feel like Christian Vesalainen is a massive victim of that kind of mentality, because he is going to play on our club this year and he's going to be a checking winger with Adam Lowry. And that's not the best. He is a sniper. Like he's got pretty good defensive game, but you're wasting the kind of player he is if you're going to make him play a shutdown scoring or a shutdown line on the third or fourth line, which is what they're going to do. And that's really frustrating to me. So he's going to play third right wing. That's not where I would put him, with an asterisk, because I would put him there. I would run 3 scoring lines and he would stay there. But anyways, that's kind of my little tangent about Christian Vesalainen.
I'm in agreement. What I would have done is I would have let Stastny go, and I would have put Vesalainen in the second line there, because, like you said, he's a goal scorer. He's got that physical frame that can be a checker, but he's a scorer. Like, he's an offensive threat almost anywhere he is on the ice. Like, he is being molded into a role he isn't, and we can run 3 scoring lines. And because Adam Lowry is one of the best shutdown centers, like grinder forwards in the game, like I from the eye test.
And he plays on the power play unit. Like, he can score too. If you put him with 2 scoring wingers, he could easily play on a scoring line. Sometimes people like Winnipeg really overvalues Adam Lowry. I really like him. I think he's really good. But people sometimes, like, when they put him in their like rosters, they put him on like the second line and stuff. Like, he's a third line guy. Adam Lowry, I always say, is the best fourth line center in the NHL. If you want a Stanley Cup team, he's your fourth line center. The Jets want to win a cup, they're running Scheifele, Dubois, Stastny, Lowry down the middle. But for right now, I'm fine where it is. Riley seems excited about it.
I am in agreement. This is what I've been saying. Like, I've been saying this for so long. James, you've literally heard me say this.
We have a group chat.
Preach, girl.
He's been saying this, I think, for the past year now. Like,
for real. Like, Lowry does everything. Kills penalties. He can score, shut down lines. You put him on your fourth line and you run 3 scoring lines, because that's how you win cups, is by having 3 scoring lines. When we went to the Western Conference Final, we had lines that all of them could score.
And Stastny, little Lowry down the middle. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Who's stopping that? Maybe Vegas, but
I was gonna say Marc-Andre Fleury.
Okay, and I was in our division, but this is redemption. So that answers the question, Clark.
To your point, yeah, that's kind of where we're at.
The next question comes from, I didn't get the name because I didn't feel like it. I'm sorry if
Damn.
This is a Sens question. Does Sokolov make the team?
No, I don't think he does. We are in need of right wingers, but I think we're gonna move. We're gonna move Colin White to the right. I can't talk right now. We are gonna move Colin White on the right wing. It's like white right, I can say. And if there's injuries with guys like Austin Watson, White, just on the right side, I think we're gonna take Sokolov and put him there. Because if you look at like with Belleville, he's the most NHL ready guy out there. He said it himself. He needs 1 more year to improve like everything, like his skating, his mentality. He said it himself. 1 more year in the AHL, he could really benefit of. But his shot is NHL ready. It's an NHL shot, super powerful, super quick, and he could beat like any goalie in the NHL. So I think he is ready, but 1 more year in Belleville could really help him. If there's injuries, then you bring him up. But for now, like out of training camp, he should be playing with on Belleville's top line.
So I'm gonna say this: I wouldn't be surprised if he made the team, because he is. I think he's NHL ready, and he can maybe play like a third line role with us. But I say just put him in the AHL for now. But
and I think it would be a waste of time to put him on the fourth line too.
But another guy I could see making the team, and I've seen this we put out there. If Logan Brown doesn't live up to the hype, well, he already has, but like it doesn't make the team, watch out for Ridley Gregg.
Oh, like next season?
Yes.
My boy.
He could honestly, like maybe a fourth line grinder. It would be great.
Yeah,
like after playing Brady Tkachuk, then like I think Ridley Gregg would be really good with Alex Formanton. Maybe he can't really match his speed, but it would be a great duo. Like for a third line of just grinding and goal scoring and puck cycling. I think it would be great.
Yeah, like people who know me, I think Ryan knows it. Outside of Shane Pinto, Ridley Gregg is my favorite prospect.
Mm.
So like I'm really excited for him. I do think that he will be in the AHL next year, and I think then we should and then next year bring up. But don't be surprised if he does make the team.
Yeah, like a thing that I like about the Sens drafting, if you look in 5 years when we're a playoff team, you have to play against Brady Tkachuk. Then your second line is getting Tyler Boucher. Your third line is getting Ridley Gregg. Your fourth line is getting Parker Kelly. We're going to be an annoying, physical, gritty team, and I think we're going to be really good in the playoffs.
You figure the old Boston Bruins of like the early 2010s. Like
exactly.
Okay,
and
Don
we saw
Cherry.
that it works out.
Okay, Don Cherry.
I'm just pointing out a fact.
We got some good Canadian kids on the roster here.
No, but the thing is, the Sens draft so many Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
Like Kachuk, Colin White, Logan Brown. Actually, Drake Batherson is technically American.
Tyler Boucher now.
Don't say that. That's not We claim him. He's ours.
Because he technically he does play for Canada, but he's from Indiana.
Yeah. And of all places, Indiana. That's so lame.
That's rough. That's almost worse than Winnipeg.
I probably is.
All right, let's talk about the Jets' expectations this year. How do you guys expect you guys to do in the Central?
Mind if I take the reins here?
Okay, go for it.
Okay, and you can disagree if you want. I think we can win the Central. I think we look at our teams. Our team, we have the talent to. The Avalanche got worse in goal, and Kemper, and I've addressed that in previous podcasts.
Yeah.
I think we have the team that can win the Central, but at worst, we finish second or third. Like, we're top 3 in our division, no doubt.
I'll agree with that.
The expectation has to be there. Like, the fact that I get it that the North Division kind of sucked last year, and the Jets went on that 10-game losing skid or whatever the heck, and they still finished third, right, or whatever. Yeah, like, basically, it's a make it or break it year for this team. If they don't finish top 3, they have to clean house. They have to fire everybody because there's something that's not going on. Like, they fixed the problems they needed to fix, and if it doesn't pan out, then there's something else wrong, because I don't know what else you could do with this roster within the cap that would make them much better. Like, what else you could do? I have so many different, like, cap-friendly trades of, like, packaging up guys and trading them for random defensemen, like all that kind of stuff. Yes, but like realistically, this team is pretty much as good as they were going to get this year. And if they are below 500 at Christmas, you fire the coach and you fire the GM. I like Chevy, but like I don't know what else you can do, because you can't just be mediocre forever, and they have been mediocre for 10 years. So
because we're the Minnesota Wild, like basically, and the Wild are just mediocre, not good enough to win a championship, not bad enough to tank or lottery team.
So no man basically.
And Chevy's seat is red piping hot. No, not Chevy's. Maurice's seat is red piping hot.
I was gonna ask because I know Riley's opinion on Maurice. Alyssa, do you think Maurice should be fired?
Maurice should have been fired 3 years ago. Like, this is one thing. Like, we actually, like, the Death Centric podcast is very, like, I'm probably the most pro Maurice on the podcast, and I think he should have been fired years ago. Like, that's how bad, like, people get so frustrated with him, and, like, I totally understand a lot of the likes, but it's show business, not show friends, and I don't know why loyalty is such a big thing. Like, you're not winning a cup with the guy that hasn't won a cup with you in 8 years, so why are you keeping him around? Like, I don't know, and he would have been fired if we hadn't swept the Oilers. So I think us sweeping the Oilers and Connor Hellebuyck having a business season last year set the organization back 3 years.
I think, I'm in agreement. You look at it, like Maurice's power play, like we still run it. Like we have Laine on that power play. Like you've noticed it too, Alyssa. Like probably, right? It's like feed it to the guy on the top hash. We don't have that shot anymore. Like
no, it was bizarre, yeah. And like Nick Wheeler's is the only player on our team that can carry a puck into the zone, but they won't put him on the first power play unit. Like, I just don't understand. Like, and one of the biggest issues I have is with the gap. Our defense aren't allowed to play gap. Every time there's a 50-50 puck, they have to back off of it. And it's so frustrating because you can see these guys are all competitive and they want to do it, but it's been coached out of them. First, if I had one, I would definitely fire Huddy before I fire Maurice because I hate our defensive system. But I think everyone's just piping hot. You're right on that. And I'm going to stop talking now. But anyways.
Because I like Huddy. I like how he's a former player. Has won cups with the Oilers, right? I like what he, like that experience he's got, but it's not working. Like we've got guys that can pinch, that can win those 50-50 battles along the boards. we have those guys that can, but we're not using them properly.
That's why I like Melo. He was good at that. Like that's what he was good at, that, you know, jumping up on the line and keeping in that puck. People were like talking about him. They're like, oh, I don't like him for XYZ reasons, talking about what he does in the defensive zone. He spent most of his time in the offensive zone because he's good at all those things. That's what I like, and that's what I liked about him.
I love DeMello. That's James.
I miss DeMello. Thank you for Marijuana though.
No,
both people are happy.
Hey, James, it turned the third round pick turned out to be Levi Merlinen, so
yep.
We'll take it.
I'll take it.
You can keep him because we keep development. We love him. You can have your guy. Everyone wins. It's all good.
Yeah.
Marilinen's probably going to be Finland's starter for the World Tour this upcoming Christmas.
Finland just breeds good goalies.
Yeah.
They're a goalie factory over there. And good goal scorers that we trade away.
I just noticed I've been using the wrong mic for the entire podcast. I've been using this. All right, and sometimes I was tapping on it to make sure. All right, yeah. Now it's this mic. It was just in front of me for no reason.
All right, another Sens question. Out of all Ottawa's prospects, who has the greatest goal scoring ceiling?
Definitely Igor Sokolov.
You think it's Sokolov?
Yeah, right now I think that that's all he does. He's kind of a physical player, but he's not a fast skater. He's not the best defensively, but his goal scoring abilities are out of the sky. Like his shot, like I said earlier, it's super powerful. It's NHL ready. And I think the rest is like Tyler Boucher, Ridley Gregg. It's more physicality. Shane Pinto, a very mature defensive player. I don't think he has the same offensive like aptitudes as Igor Sokolov. I don't know about you.
Pinto in college scored a lot though. Like if he has to adapt his two-way game to the NHL level, and I think he'll start scoring more. But for the goal ceiling, I have to disagree. I think Sokolov's number 2 on that like goal scoring list. I think it's Ravi Yarventi.
Oh,
Ravi Yarventi. If you look at his shot, like his shot is amazing. And if he can get work on his skating and work on his zone entries, then I think he could be an absolutely like 25-30 goal scorer for like a second or third line. He could definitely play that role.
Yeah, but what I don't like about Yarventi is he's really inconsistent.
He is.
Like one night he's gonna score like 2 goals and the next game you're not even gonna notice him on the ice. Sokolov is good every single game. He had a great rookie season in the AHL, and Yarventi, I don't know. If he can work on his consistency and improve like his all-around game, he can definitely be our best prospect goal scorer.
Yeah, because Ottawa took a chance on him in the second round. So
yep.
Like I still think he's a great player. I think he will be an NHLer someday. But I just think if he can tap into that get consistency and tap into that potential, then I think hopefully he'll be a middle six guy for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Can I throw a name in here?
Sure.
I'm gonna say Bouchard. He's got a frame that reminds me of Rick Nash.
You mean Boucher?
Boucher.
But
Bouchard,
you know who's
Bouchard.
Okay. You know I'm talking about here. Okay? You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
So I think him, Bouchard, because he's got a frame and build of Rick Nash. And from what I've heard and what you guys have told me, he's a power forward, which I think that just build and solid muscle he's got will be a great addition and great driving the net, get those gritty goals, like the ugly, clean up the junk in front of the net.
He said it himself. He's going to be really, really good in the playoff. Like maybe in this season, he's going to be a normal player, but comes playoff time, some teams, that's all they need. They have goal scoring, they have defense, they have goaltending, but they don't have this grittiness and energy that Tyler Boucher has. So he's going to bring that in the playoff. It's really going to help Ottawa. And yeah, I mean, right after the draft, Twitter wanted to make us feel better. So we saw a clip of him putting like 4 guys down on the same shift. It was just, I don't know how he does it, but he's in a hit first mentality. Like he just wants to hit you.
Yeah, Riley, I'll give you a football comparison. Imagine Joey Bosa. What if Joey Bosa wore skates?
Oh yeah, you lost me.
Go Chargers.
All right, we're gonna play a game. It's called Blank.
Okay, Jigsaw.
So okay,
no idea.
Okay, you know what? So I'm gonna say a certain phrase, and you're gonna answer the blank.
So you're gonna say what?
So I'm gonna say a phrase, and there's gonna be a blank.
Okay.
For example, blank will get an assist. This is an example.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Or start off with our Jets. That's one. Blank will score 40 goals, over 40 goals this season.
This is you, Alyssa.
Oh, it's me. Okay. I'm gonna say Kyle Connor.
I'm gonna say Nikolai Ehlers.
That's a great choice. I was gonna say him. He's our best player for sure, but I think Kyle Connor, if he can play on a line with Nikolai Ehlers, is gonna score 40 goals this year.
They're dynamic.
So good.
Both of them.
So much fun.
I have a Kyle Connor jersey. I love that guy. Please marry me, Kyle Connor.
And you're also allowed to say no one if it doesn't apply to you. I just want to put that
Okay,
as well.
interesting. Okay.
Blank will get 100 points.
No. Connor McDavid. Well, no one on the Jets. No one on the Jets will get 100 points. Let's be real here.
Does it say Tyson Barrie on his own net? Maybe. Like I don't know. Like I can't. I don't know.
Jeez, taking shots directly at the Oilers fans. Jeez.
I'm so mean to the Oilers. It's like, yeah.
No, we love.
I live in Alberta, so like, yeah.
Get well soon.
I think everyone knows I don't like Oilers fans.
Like when I was in your TikTok lives during the season, they were. Oh my god, they're the worst. Yeah, really.
Yeah. Okay, carry on.
Defenseman Blank will have over 50 points.
Pionk.
Yeah, I think that's the only option.
He's our best defenseman.
He's the only defenseman who knows how to pass the puck on the blue line. So
Blank will have a disappointing season.
Blake Wheeler.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I'm gonna say Wheeler. I'm gonna say it. I hate to say it because I love our captain, but
Blank will have a breakout year.
Pierre-Luc Dubois.
Okay. I'm gonna say Andrew Kopp again. He's been ascending each year, and especially him being on a 1-year deal before he hits UFA, I think.
Yeah.
He's gonna get paid next year, so he's gonna go on a tear.
Blank will lead the team in hits.
Brendan Dillon.
I was gonna say Adam Lowry.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna chime in on this one. I'm gonna say Logan Stanley.
Big stud.
Yeah, on Thomas Chabot again.
Oh. Riley knows how I feel about Logan Stanley. So
how do you feel about Logan Stanley?
I don't like Logan Stanley. I think he's a big, like he's tall, but he's physical. So like I don't like, if he was on the Sens, I'd love him, but if I'm against him, I don't like him.
Like he's our Josh Brown.
Yeah.
He's on my team and I can't stand him. So you can have him.
Yeah. Like
I love Stanley. I love Stanley.
Stanley's injured, I think 3 or 4 Ottawa Senators, so I don't like him at all.
I mean, like DJ would put him on like straight up on the first
DJ would play him first line.
Oh yeah, for sure. He would give him 35 minutes.
I love Stanley. I love Big Stan. Like I love Big Stan. Like hey, is it the analytics thing?
No. It's more
okay.
The fact, the analytics thing, whatever. Like you can see it in analytics. He has on JFresh player card 0% quality of competition. Okay, he played against the worst competition of any defenseman in the entire NHL this year. He was like okay, and he played with the best partner that he could have possibly played with from the Jets. And everyone's like, protect him over DeMello. He's gonna be so good. He's gonna be the next Char, even though he's been crap for like 4 years in the AHL and he's never done anything to prove it. Like it's more the mismanagement of that asset. We've paid like 3 times to keep him, and it's just so frustrating.
Yeah,
it's more my issue with how he's been managed than him himself. Like he's fine, but that's my issue.
Yeah.
This was also his rookie year, to be fair, and him playing on the lower line is just to get him used to the NHL speed.
Oh no, 100%. That was the only way to play him.
Okay.
People talking about how good he is. It's like you cannot call a player good when they've played 50 NHL games and they've been against like Devon Shore and Jay Beagle. Like, come on. Like, I don't. This is annoying.
But you're protecting for the freaking, how to put it? You're protecting for the growth. He's still a young ascending player, I think.
But it's so they're like there's nothing tangible about what he's done that makes you think he's going to be any better than Dylan DeMello already is. Like, because Dylan DeMello is on a super team-friendly contract, and he's so effective. And he was our best defenseman this year behind Neil Pionk. Questionably better than Neil Pionk, almost. But Neil Pionk could give him the benefit of the doubt because he was carrying around the corpse of Derek Forbort all year. But, like, Dylan DeMello has been a good defenseman for years, and people were just so quick to throw him under the bus when it was between him and Logan Stanley, and I just felt like I had to defend DeMello to the grave. And I feel like I still do, even though the expansion draft happened like 2 months ago, but whatever. We don't have to go into this. We've done like countless.
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. And finally, blank will lead the Jets in rookie points.
We probably don't have any rookies coming up though.
Right. Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Billy Hamela, if he plays more than 11 games, I don't know.
No, hey, he's getting 2 games, okay? Like, that's a good sample size, don't you know?
So I was going to ask, who's the Jets' backup goalie now? I know you guys lost Pasquale.
Eric Comrie.
Comrie
did.
And
Detroit Red Wings legend. Red Wings legend.
The Jets' backup goalie will do blank.
Nothing.
Nothing? All right. Now,
Riley, we have
zero
faith in Comrie.
Riley, you're going to ask the same questions, but to us. Did you remember the questions?
No, because you didn't tell me them ahead of time.
You're supposed to send him a message. I think you got to send him a message.
You were supposed to do this,
not,
man.
If not, just make up your own. Just go with the flow.
Okay. Blank will lead the Senators in points.
Drake Batherson.
Ooh, yeah, Drake Batherson.
Great choice.
Yeah, I would have went with like Brady Tkachuk, but I think Drake Batherson. No, he's got to be Batherson.
Batherson, North, or even Connor Brown.
Oh, Connor Brown could be. I don't know if he's gonna have as big as a bigger role than last season, but he could definitely.
Yeah.
Did Stützle die? How is Connor Brown going to get more points than him?
I don't know. He's gonna be 20 years old. I think in an 82 game season, Connor Brown will do better.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Blank will lead the Sens in assists.
Brady Tkachuk.
Connor
Brown's Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. Blank will lead the Senators in penalty minutes.
Brady Tkachuk.
That's an easy one.
Okay then. Blank will make the Senators in 2021 and 2022.
Like a prospect or
like
a rookie?
A rookie, yeah.
Parker Kelly.
I haven't heard of that guy.
He's a small, gritty player. He played 1 game against the Leafs and scored a goal last season. He was just so annoying to guys like Morgan Riley and Jake Muzzin. He's going to be a great foot-line grinder.
He's a shift disturber.
Exactly. Shift disturber.
He's like Brandon Tanev. He's like Brandon Tanev.
I don't know.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he plays similar to Brandon Tanev's style, but he's pretty small though.
Yeah.
So Brandon Tanev.
Smaller but faster.
Well, Tanev's what, like 5'9"?
No, he's taller than that. He's all taller than that.
Yeah, so like because Parker Kelly's 5'9".
I think so. But yeah, if I had to take one guy out of Belleville, it would be Parker Kelly. I think he's the most NHL ready.
Honorable mention to Ridley Gregg because I want to see it.
Gregg.
I want to see
Brandon Wheat King's legend.
Blank will get traded this season.
Ooh.
Chris Tierney.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's clearly the easy answer. It's gonna be a make or break here, and I think he's still gonna be just a fourth line defensive center, and we're not gonna need him. At the trade deadline, I think he's gone.
Yeah, Chris Tierney had a bad year last year. Like people always say how good he is he's like, oh, he's a two-way player. I'm like, well, he's giving up the puck and letting goals go in the other way. I don't think that's pretty two-way game to me.
Yeah. Also, Logan Brown. I think at the trade deadline, I don't think he's gonna fix his injury problem, and I think at the trade deadline he's gonna be packaged for something.
If Logan Brown gets hot and we trade him, I won't be mad.
I don't know.
But if he stays hot and we trade him, then I'll be mad.
Because we're gonna be worried about his injury problem forever in his career. It's gonna follow him in every team he's gonna play for.
Yeah.
The Senators will finish blank in the Atlantic.
Yes.
You think we're gonna finish higher than Montreal?
Yes.
I don't know about that.
Montreal actually is one of the questions today. Montreal's lost way too many pieces. First of all, teams that come back from the Stanley Cup final, they're tired the next year when they start out. They are exhausted.
They got a short off season.
Price is also injured to start off.
And he's bad in the season. Price.
Yes.
And he's in his mid-30s. I don't know why.
Like it's a prime effect for Price to fall off a cliff.
Yep.
And they also know Shea Weber.
And if you notice, Ottawa only struggled against Montreal when Jake Allen was in the net.
Yep. Yeah.
Also,
Price
goalies from voodoo. Like, if you're saying a team is good because they have a good goalie, like, that's not enough. Like, goalies just go, they're so hot and cold. Like, it's not, like, people are like, oh, yeah, Montreal, Carey Price. Like, shut up. Your team's bigger than one guy.
Yeah, look at 2019 St. Louis. Like, they rode Jordan Binnington to a Stanley Cup.
But I'm just
ass.
I'm trying to be realistic and putting us at 6, but like 5th, like we could definitely be higher than Montreal. I don't think they've improved their roster this offseason. Replacing Shea Weber with David Savard. I know he's good. He's a good defensive player, but he's no Shea Weber. He's not the captain. He's not going to be the leader of this team. And Mike Hoffman, I did not expect
Hoffman does nothing 5-on-5.
He does nothing 5-on-5. He does nothing defensively. Yeah, he's going to really help you on your power play. You can run him right after Caulfield or something like that. But I don't think they've improved their roster a lot enough.
Goals win games though, and that's what Mike Hoffman does. And they didn't have anyone on their team that was that one-off sniper, whatever, before, like Cole Caulfield, whatever. So like I think he's actually going to make a bigger difference than people think. But I also just think they have no center depth, and I also think their coach is bad, and I also
that's what I was about to say.
They're not as good as everyone else thinks they are. Like I don't know.
If they lose KK and they can't get Dvorak, they're good. They might even be lower than Detroit. Okay, maybe not Detroit, but they're going to be bad.
Detroit improved a lot, though.
Suzuki is their only center.
Losing Thomas Tatar and Philip Deneau for free is like
bad.
Bad.
Yep.
And now
Deneau is one of the best defensive forwards in the game.
I also think
stand on that
because when we switched up goalie coaches, Matt Murray played a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Like when we got the new goalie coach, he went 4-1 with 2 shutouts, and I think it was a 915, 920 save percentage.
Yeah, he was great. Like his chemistry with the new goalie coach is great. You felt it as soon as he came in. He looked like a different goalie. You were always worried about him giving up a bad goal to start this season, and he would give up a bad goal, like out of position, bad reflex. Nothing was working for Matt Murray, but with the new goalie coach, he really improved. And if he can keep this up into next season, I think because what's gonna make us like be higher than Montreal is Matt Murray. It all depends on our goaltending. I think it's gonna be Murray and Forsberg. But the only thing that worries me is his injury. He got injured like 3 times last season.
Yeah.
But if he can stay like decently healthy and perform and just bring what he was like his talent from the end of last season into next year, the Sens are definitely going to be higher than Montreal.
Yeah.
Forsberg is a Jets legend.
So true.
he was low-key one of our best acquisitions last season.
Yeah. I know, and then watching him play, I felt so bad. Every time I watched him play, I got so sad because he was wearing his Jets patch.
Yeah, exactly.
He never got to play a game with us, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, but James, I don't know your opinion about it, but who would you run like as the 2 Sens goalies next season?
So
I was supposed to ask the questions here, Philip.
Okay, listen, we'll get to that in a second.
Blank and blank will be your starting goalies.
Yeah, come on. Like, thanks,
Alyssa. Okay, so Gustafsson, his contract he just signed, the first year is a 2-way contract.
Yep.
He's going to be in the AHL next year.
And he's waiver exempt.
And then, exactly. And then the next year, I think we let Forsberg walk, and Philip Gustafsson comes in and takes that backup role. So
I don't think we're signing Forsberg next year.
So I think we're running Murray, Forsberg to start the year, and then the next season we're running Murray, Gustafsson.
Yep. Yeah, I love that.
Because I think Gustafsson is ready to be an NHL goalie, at least a backup right now.
Yeah, and Gustafsson, he's not performing well usually in the AHL, but I think now with Matt Sogard, it's going to be like a competition between them to see who's going to be the starter, and it's really going to help him elevate his game to the next level.
They're going to feed off each other, and they're going to make each other better, which I think is great.
Yep, both of them.
I do still think Murray is a placeholder for one of those guys.
Yep. Belleville is going to be strong next season.
Yeah.
And I feel like eventually you guys are gonna have one of those like Merzlikis, kind of shit. What's the other one's name?
Korpisalo.
I always forget his name. Where they didn't even know which one was their starter because both of them were exceeding expectations and stuff like that. Like it's a good problem to have, but yeah.
Which in turn gives you guys trade capital. Big brain stuff.
Exactly. Like the only goalie that I don't trust and I don't think will be an NHL goalie in our system is Mando.
Oh no, he's not going to be playing. He's not going to play in the NHL.
I think he'll be an AHL goalie for his career.
And I think he's going to play with the Gladiators next season.
Yeah, the ECHL team. Yeah, but here's the thing: he could develop into an NHL goalie, but right now I don't see it.
Yeah, no.
Hey man, people said the same thing about Mikael Berdin.
Yeah.
My
Birdman.
boy.
Yeah, we love Birdman in Winnipeg. Like,
He's a weirdo. I love him so much. Like, again, people are like, NHL players need more personality. I'm like, you know what? Instead of Austin Matthews in the cover of NHL 22, put Mikael Berdin on there.
Birdman.
Oh, Matt's
Like,
got
he's-
no personality.
Well, Birdman is like
I've actually met Matt Sogard. He's actually such a nice dude. Like,
Oh, he looks like it.
yeah.
I was surprised by
he-
his
he-
English when I heard him on a podcast.
Yeah, like he speaks perfect English, and like he's 6'8". He's huge.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Sogard?
We're there. Like, hey, I think it's the wrong sport.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go to our first debate.
okay.
Now we got a little off
All right.
track. We're going back on track now.
It's not gonna-
The prospect
crack.
debate.
Okay, let's get into this. Alyssa, are you ready? We're
So
having a
who
debate.
Who has the better pool? Ottawa or Winnipeg?
Winnipeg.
Ottawa.
No, it's Winnipeg.
I want to say Ottawa, but here's what I'm gonna say. Most of our guys graduated this year.
I want
Yeah.
to say Ottawa too, so maybe I should sit this one out and let Phil and Riley take it because they both seem a little bit more.
I don't know, because I don't know that much about the Jets prospect pool. I know
Okay.
some of them, but I don't know if I could, like, I'm gonna
What
need
do-
James and you.
Yeah,
What do you consider a prospect pool though? Like,
so here's my I have like a little what's called a model or like a blueprint. So to be a prospect, you have to be under the age of 23 or 25 for goaltender. You have to not have played a full NHL season
Okay.
or at least
Yep.
played your rookie year. So I still consider Shane Pinto a prospect.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So here's my reasoning. Like,
So-
you got our big guys like Heinola, Perfetti, Chaz. You got our big guys, but then we've got Mikael Berdin, who's lighting the Moose up and pushing, and we'll push hard for that backup spot in the behind Hellebuck, because you look at Berdin's work ethic. He's worked his kahootie off to get to the AHL, and his work ethic alone is what's going to push him to the NHL. Like, he was sent down to the ECHL like multiple times, and he bounced back to the AHL. Like, his work ethic and mental drive is just going to push him to the next level. As well as, like, we've got David Gustafsson. Guy had 23 points in 25 games with the Moose. Like, Gustafsson's been a stud. And then we've got our lesser known guys like Dylan Samberg, who I love. I love Samberg. I love what he brings. He's a physical defenseman, good responsibly defensively. And Declan Chisholm is a name that doesn't get talked about enough, who's pretty solid. And we just have like all types of players that can do almost different roles. Like, and then we got our Russians, like the 3 Russians we drafted, like Chebrikov. A lot of people had him as a first round talent. I've seen a lot of reports having him in the first round, and
Yeah, I know I had him like mid to late first round. I know that for sure.
I'll go on the Jets side, and I'm going to be the middle ground here. I 100% get what you're saying. I think we have a lot of star power in the prospects, but I think that's where it ends. Like, we used to have, you could dig into the depths, and it's like, this guy is like your 20th best prospect, and he still is going to make the NHL. Like, in like 15, 16, 17, like, our prospect pool was so deep, and I feel like we just have our top round picks kind of guys, and then not much else of a supporting cast, which is why I'm less high on the Jets prospect pool. But like, as far as like the very top end of it, I think we have some great guys coming up the pipe, but so does Ottawa. So I don't know. It's tough.
So
Well,
Yeah,
Ottawa,
it's tough.
Shane Pinto. You know, I can't say anything more. I love Shane Pinto. Jake Sanderson, I think, is going to be a number 1 NHL defenseman.
I
And
think he could
you
pass
guys-
Shabbat at one point.
And I think you guys don't have a defenseman like that's a quality of Jake Sanderson. You could argue Heinola, but I just think
You guys are
Sanderson-
really high on Sanderson, hey?
I
Oh yeah.
love.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You saw him
Okay.
in the summer showcase a couple months ago. His offensive game has taken a huge step forward. He has one more year in college. I think he comes up in following year. I'm so high on him. Like, when we drafted him, I hated the pick. I could.
You shaved your head.
We had a
You
bet.
shaved your head.
Because my buddy said, "You're drafting Sanderson." I'm like, no, fuck you. I will shave my head if we draft Sanderson, and I shave my head.
Yeah.
It
No,
was,
but
at the
I'm really
time,
happy
it was a wacko pick, I think. Like, it might end up being nice, but I don't know. I
No.
think
Because Sanderson,
he's better than Hanola, but I don't.
I just think Sanderson's a shutdown. He's a shutdown D.
He's already a shutdown defenseman. Nothing, like no one or nothing gets past Sanderson. And now with one more year, with the Novak Sens, his offensive game is gonna be even better. His toe drag, his shot, he can move at the blue line and just ankle break every single player. He's gonna be great two-way defenseman, and I think he's gonna pass Shabbat for this
the number one D. I think
because of his defense.
And people like say, "Oh, you should have got to Drysdale." I'm like, no, we have a Drysdale. His name is Thomas Shabbat.
Yeah.
Okay, I just like we've seen what Heinola can do in the NHL, right? Like when he's played, he needs
more playing time. Like
if
you guys don't play him enough.
Given the opportunity that Logan Stanley was given last year, he would have put up way better results, and I won't die on that hill.
And so that's where I'm saying Heinola over Sanderson, because we know what Heinola can do against grown top end talent.
Yeah.
Versus what Sanderson's going up against college kids.
Yes.
So there's a physical size strength difference, but Sanderson is still a great player, but Heinola has gone up against more elite competition. And like I said, I like Sanderson. He's from North Dakota. You know, I love the North Dakota Fighting Hawks, right? But I got to go Heinola here, and I'm not even trying to be biased.
Yeah.
Heinola was a draft steal, but
I won't pick a side on this one because I'll be honest, like I don't know a ton about Jake Sanderson. Like I've seen like the regular amount of stuff, but I've seen way more of Heinola, so I'm obviously way more biased towards him. But I don't know enough about Sanderson, so I won't.
Yeah, same for me. I'm seeing like deep diving in his play by big analytics guy, watching his play, pausing every single time. So I know a lot about Jake Sanderson and everything that he does on the ice. Heinola, I'm not sure. So
all the Jets prospect information I get from Riley. I just ask Riley and he gives me like on point analysis. Yeah. But we got JDD as well. Sokolov is gonna call a stud. Yarventi, Greg.
And we have great goaltending depth in our prospect pool.
Like Gustafson, Sogard, Marilainen, like those three guys could end up being NHL caliber goaltenders.
Yeah, I mean Gustafson, we've seen he's probably NHL ready right now. He was a brick wall last season, super consistent. Matt Sogard, he came with the Belleville Sens.
Went undefeated.
He went 7-0. He was solid. He didn't allow any bad goals, and his teammates had like trusted him, and they weren't scared of letting someone get past him because they knew that the Great Dane was going to save the puck. And then you can go to Levi Merlainen.
But as grown men, like 925, I think it was.
I think he had like 8 shutouts in 30 games. Can
I?
So I think our goalie prospects. But I think we don't have any forward that's comparable to Perfetti though.
Yeah, no.
So I would say this. I think goaltenders, I think that's ours. Forwards, that be you, and then we can do a toss-up for the D.
Yeah, defenseman is an equal sign. Because Perfetti, this year was perfect for Perfetti. Like, he played in the AHL, then went to the World Juniors, then went back to the AHL, then went to the World Hockey Championship. Like, dude had such a good developmental year in a year that was just... what the hell's going on for hockey? Because he shouldn't have been in the AHL.
He's stupid good. Like I'm sorry, but like the Ottawa Senators should have picked him. Like I know you want a defenseman, but like not Ottawa necessarily themselves, but 10 was such a like. There were a couple like lots of people had him at like 3. Like I don't think he's 3 good, but like holy smokes, that's a good player to get at number 10.
I think he should have been taken at 4. I think Detroit should have taken him because
like the fact that Jack Quinn was drafted above Cole Perfetti is a crime.
Yeah, like
it's an absolute crime.
Yeah, so I live in Ottawa, so I saw both Rossi and Quinn play. So I know how good Jack Quinn and Rossi was. To him going 7 was a shock. I thought when I heard 6-7, like, oh, it's Rossi. It's got to be Rossi. No, they took Quinn, and then I was shocked.
Like I love Jack Quinn, but he's not as good as Cole Perfetti. Like,
I thought it could be. I thought Perfetti or it. Like I just don't get it. But I think Perfetti was an absolute steal, and I thought Ottawa was going to do a strategy at 10 that you guys did last draft was wait and see who drops.
Yeah.
But we decided to go off the board. But here's what it is.
I think unless it would have been a guy like Eklund or McTavish or like Owen Power, obviously.
Yeah,
I would have went with Tyler Boucher. Like he was our guy, clearly.
Yeah, I will say to this day, I think McTavish was our target.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And
that's my target.
Yeah, because he's from Ottawa, so I thought that for sure.
That's the best way to scout a player is when he's from your city. Like that's why Edmonton was gonna take Kosa.
Yeah, so I thought.
Oh, Edmonton.
Yeah,
I
so
would have screamed if the Jets would have taken Carson Lambos. I would have jumped off a building. So mad.
You would have been mad?
I didn't want Carson Lambos. I don't think he's that good.
Right,
James, you know how bad I wanted Lambos.
Yes, I know how bad you wanted Lambos.
I wanted Lambos at like 25. I didn't want Lambos at, what did we, 17 or whatever Chaz Lucius was?
We were 14, I think. Yeah, Arizona messed it all up.
All right, I'm gonna get to our last.
I think it was 14.
I'm gonna get to our last 3 questions.
Yep.
And then we'll get to our game, and then we'll get to our last debate.
Perfect.
All right, so this one's for Alyssa specifically.
Oh, geez.
How do you think? Are you satisfied with the Jets decor and the moves that a Chevy has made?
Okay, I'll keep this one short this week because I feel like we talked about it a lot, but I feel like, at the end of the day, like you can talk about, cap retention with Schmidt, whatever. If you walk away from it with a good player, like you should be happy with what you did. And I think Schmidt's going to be a massive upgrade in our power play, and Dylan's going to be a massive upgrade on freaking Tucker Pullman on our first pairing if that's where he chooses to play. Like, I just think that it's a lot better than we had last year, and I think Chevy did exactly what he could have done. I didn't want him to bring in Dougie Hamilton. I wanted him to bring in 2 lesser versions of Dougie Hamilton, and that's what he did. So I'm good with the moves.
I'm in agreement. I love how with Schmidt, we still have a 3rd-round pick from Columbus.
Yeah.
So they were good moves. And if we would have won salary retention, we would have had to give up more. And Chevy doesn't like doing that. So
and it
good
is
moves.
We managed to get Coppin, Stanley, and Pionkin under the wire too. So whatever, no one cares anymore. It's all good.
If we go on a run in the playoffs, Chevy should be in the contender for GM of the year. I'm just gonna say it. From this offseason, he's had like the amount of like team friendly contracts we got. Like Pionks is really friendly. I'm gonna say it.
Like I think Neil Pionk is a better defenseman than Darnell Nurse, and I know again Oilers fans are gonna yell. I think he's a better defenseman than Darnell Nurse, and so you know what? I'm happy with what we got for the AAV on that.
I'm actually going to agree with that take.
Interesting.
I think Darnell Nurse is very overrated as a defenseman.
Darnell Nurse is just.
I like him, but
he
like
puts up stupid different numbers when McDavid is on the ice and when McDavid is off the ice. What people think Draisaitl is what Darnell Nurse is. People think Draisaitl is a product of McDavid. No, Darnell Nurse is a product of McDavid.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I can put anyone with McDavid. He's gonna put up points. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
Yep. Pionk is one of the few players I've seen handle McDavid very well.
He does handle McDavid very well. Yeah, no, I agree. And like McDavid, McDavid's possession numbers are through the roof. So naturally, when Darnell Nurse is on the ice with him, he's not going to give up a lot of goals because McDavid always has the puck. That's just the way that works. So
advanced stats.
Like, and that's not even advanced stats. Like, Corsi's stupid. It's shot attempts. Naturally, the person who shoots more is probably going to have a better chance of scoring. Like, what do you want from me?
I feel like we unlocked something here. Like, let's just lock that away.
All right, so we're gonna go to the next. The next question is Brandstrom: trade or don't trade?
Don't trade. Do not.
Very
trade.
simple.
No, don't trade Brandstrom. He's still like 21 years old.
Yeah.
I know he didn't have the best season, but he was just up and down between Belleville and Ottawa.
He's gonna have a breakout this year. I'm calling it because he had a Baverson last year Baverson. He was up and down, and then put in the AHL. Then he thrived. That's what Brandstrom did this year.
Yep.
So put Brandstrom in the NHL this year. He's gonna thrive. I have a feeling he's gonna be the perfect second pairing defenseman.
And I don't want us, especially to trade him for a guy that's going to be a UFA next season, because now you lose a big prospect for a guy that's going to help you in a win-now situation, but we're not in a win-now situation.
And I'm going to say something that a lot of Sens fans have told me. If you trade Brandstrom, you traded Brandstrom for Mark Stone.
Yeah. Well,
then that's horrible asset management.
Yes, there you go, yeah.
And the only thing is there's been some rumors about him not playing in the top 4, and I just hate that. I think he found his partner in Artem Zub. He really gives him the confidence to just go up the ice, be more offensive, and not worry about the defensive game because Zub is going to shut down anyone. He's found his partner. I think he's going to be really consistent next season with Artem Zub, and if he plays in under third pairing, I think might as well put him in Belleville. It would be just a waste of time to have him in the NHL at this point.
Yeah, I got a feeling that Zub actually might be first pairing next year.
Oh, with Thomas Chabot?
Yeah, I think that might be a good pairing.
I think if Brännström is out of the top 4, you put him with Chabot. But if Brännström is still our second left defenseman, like keep him with him and put Nikita Zaitsev. Last season, Zaitsev, I mean, he was decent. He's a defensive defenseman, and he's gonna shut down the other team's like first line and everything. But he's not the best offensively, and he's not gonna help Chabot score goals or anything. So I think for maybe one more season, you can have Zaitsev playing with Thomas Chabot. But yeah, Artem Zub would definitely be interesting. I think they played together like one game last season.
Yeah. And last one, this is for the Jets fans, but it's a Sens question. It says for Jets fans only. He was very specific.
All right,
let's go.
I know we already talked about this, but does Ottawa finish 5th or 6th in the Atlantic?
I love that.
Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw, but I did my division prediction videos and none of them got any traction except for my Atlantic one because I put Montreal at 6, and people lost their shit on me because I'm a biased Jets fan because I got swept by. No, we got swept by our own team sucking and by Phil Deneau being good.
Mm-hmm.
So I was actually cheering for the Habs. I like the Habs. I think they're cool. But I think Montreal would be like I made a video about this too, but like I think Montreal would beat Ottawa in a 7-game series, but I think this year, as far as winning games, I think Ottawa is going to win more games than Montreal will in the regular season.
So I don't know. You didn't put us at 4th, right? You put us at 5th. Okay, yeah. Because someone put us in the playoff, and I just no.
No, I'm not that high on the Sens.
No. Yeah, I know Joel put us at 5th and in the wild card, which I completely disagree with, but.
I think in the Pacific Division we could make the playoff, but the Atlantic is so stacked. There's no way.
The Atlantic's so stacked. Yeah,
the West is so weak this upcoming season. Like
the West is
the
brutal,
Pacific. Yeah. The Pacific is so weak.
Yes, the Atlantic and the Metro are stacked though.
The Central is like fine, but like I think the Atlantic and the Metro are like wacko good. Yeah. Like it's so weird because it's like they have the write-off. Like Columbus is a write-off. Like I love them, but they're a write-off, and so are Detroit and Buffalo for now. Detroit's gonna be a bit better, but it's like other than that, it's such a freaking toss-up. Like Florida could win the Atlantic Division, or they could finish 5th. Like it's who knows? It's such a toss-up at this point. No one knows, so that's why it's a prediction, right? Like no one actually really knows. But I'm gonna put Ottawa at 5.
Yeah. You go.
I agree with Ottawa at 5. Like. You guys are like James has told me numerous times, and it's been engraved in my head. You guys are clicking at the end of the season. You guys are just everything was meshing together. Things are going well. You know, like you guys went on a really good stretch near the end, right, James?
Yeah, we went like it was 13, 2, and 3. I think.
It was 9, 2, and 1.
9, 2, and 1. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and granted, you guys won't be playing the North again, but you guys like everything's slowly coming together.
Yeah,
Stützle will have almost a full year in, and I expect him to take a step forward this year. So 5 is a pretty good spot.
Yeah, but I don't want to base my opinion off of what we did at the end of last season because we were a team playing with no pressure. Like we didn't have to win. There was no playoff for sure, and they were just having fun. So what scares me is maybe
the same way this year. I don't think any Ottawa Senator thinks they're going to make the playoffs this year. I think there's going to be a lot less pressure, and I think they're going to go out there and they're just going to be like, "Frig it, let's try something new on the power play, score a couple of goals," and all of a sudden, it's like one game is such a small sample size, right? So any team that has Connor McDavid, each individual game that you look at, they have a really high chance of winning a game, even if the team kind of sucks and would suck in the playoffs and get swept by the likes of the Winnipeg Jets. So I think that Ottawa's the opposite. Like they have like a bunch of, good scoring talent, whatever. And I think individual games, they will win a lot of them, which will put them higher than Montreal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. But maybe being too young, like an 82 game will like be bad for us, but we'll see. We'll see next season.
Well, you guys remind me of the 2016, 2017 Winnipeg Jets. That's what I look at that's what I think of your roster, where you guys are just clicking things. Things are just clicking, right? And then the year after, I think, is when you guys make that next leap. But this is the year where you are good, but not good enough, but you're still good.
Yeah, and like I said, I think next offseason we're gonna make our big free agent signing. We're gonna get our Dougie Hamilton to go from rebuild to a successful playoff team.
Yep. Anyways,
next year, whose contracts are up next year on date?
I have no idea.
Next year,
I don't even
Ernie?
Because we kind of have a disadvantage because who wants to come in Ottawa? I know we're a good young team, but we're a small market. We're in Canada. Maybe not everyone's going to want to come.
Guys via trade. Like I know there's some guys who do. Like Del Zotto signed here, and we were in the. He was
really happy about it.
We were in the running for. We were in the running for somebody. I'm trying to think.
For everyone.
Last year we were in the running for Toffoli. We basically. He said it's between the Habs and Ottawa, and he chose the Habs.
Like, here's the thing, though. Like, people, that's the one thing that a lot of Jets fans use as, like, a cop-out for our team being, so, like, not doing anything super great for the last however many years. They're like, oh, it's because no players want to come to Winnipeg. Like, I call your bluff on that. Like, if players see a team that they think is going to win a Stanley Cup, they will go anywhere. Not necessarily to term, but, like, Toronto and Vancouver are a bit different, but, like, both of them, like, Nick Foligno went to Toronto because he thought he could win a Stanley Cup with them. Like, players will come if they think they can win it. Maybe not, like, signing a big term, whatever. Like, I do understand that. But people are always like, oh, don't even bother with this guy because he won't come because no one wants to play Winnipeg. If they thought they could win a Stanley Cup, they would come.
Look at it.
Yeah, Joe Forden with Florida, for example. That'd be another
Look
one.
at how, like, with Nate Schmidt, right? He originally didn't want to come, but then Paul Stastny called him up and he was like, man, like, they're building a team here. They're building something good. Like, we've got pieces, like, just, you know, and it's a city that, it's true, people don't want to come here, but we also, like, we haven't had a lot of cap space to bring a lot of people in.
No.
So
$8.5 million tied up in Blake Wheeler, it's kind of hard to do things like that. But
yeah, and Wheeler's contract does hurt us, but it's also, like, at the time he signed it, you know,
his contract is moot point because Scheifele's underpaid, Ehlers is underpaid, and Hellbuck's underpaid. So I don't even care. But like there are the Phil Dubois of the world who, you know, he wants to play in like a hockey market, whatever. It's like if you're like a family oriented, whatever person, like who is from Canada, so isn't bothered by the cold and little things like that, like you won't hate playing Winnipeg. But some people, it's just not their shtick, and I get it. Like I don't take it personally. I don't really want to be here either. Like, you know.
And you're not getting paid millions of dollars to live there.
True. Yeah. If someone wants to pay me $6 million a year, I will live anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when Ottawa was good, we got players. Like we got Gonchar to come here. We got Hatchick to come here. So I agree with that. Like if Duchesne was traded for. So
I know, I just had to bring that up.
Right. We're gonna move on to our last. It's a short game, and then we're gonna move on to our last debate. And then we're gonna end it.
Okay, Matt Duchesne is a no word on this podcast. I like it. I can't stand that
guy. Awards. So I'm gonna give you an award, like not an award, and you tell me for that team.
Okay.
So, example, who would you give the Norris to on the Jets?
Pionk.
I'm doing a series on this on TikTok right now.
Pionk.
Dylan DeMello.
You just have a crush on DeMello.
I love him so much. He's the only partner that Morrissey is good with. He's so good with everything, and also he's so nice. Like he's just like the greatest human being. Like, I love him so much.
Dude, I love DeMello. Like he's a great defenseman, but I think Pionk is the way his offensive upside pairs well with his defense.
Pionk is the answer, and especially because the Norris is the best offensive defenseman, right? So
basically, which James and I addressed this on another episode with Nordic.
Yeah. So Phil.sens.
For the Norris.
Artem Zub.
Yeah, it's obviously Artem Zub. I was about to say it. Like, come on.
You would give it to Shabbat?
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be Shabbat. It's gonna be Shabbat for sure. Yeah. I think he does need to improve his defensive game. I think it's going to come with time and with having a better partner, maybe an upgrade from Nikita Zaitsev in the future. It could be good for him. But yeah, he's our clear-cut number one defenseman, and there's no one else I will give the Norris to next season.
Right. Selke.
Defensive forward. None of our top six are good defensively.
Paul Stastny. That's who I'll give it to.
Yeah, I'll say either Paulie Walnuts or I like Lowry. He's really good defensively.
Yeah, Lowry's a good choice too. Yeah, but I go Walnuts just because he's so responsible on all ends. He's a very he's not low event exactly, but he's just very responsible.
For Selke for the Sens, I'm gonna go off the board. I'm gonna say Formenton.
Oh, for the Selke?
Yeah, Formenton played really well in the PK.
Yeah, he did. I mean, it's because he stays close to the blue line, and when the defenders have the puck, they're scared. They're scared to pass it because as soon as you make a mistake, he's gone. It's a breakaway.
Fast. Like he's so fast. Like,
yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I would go with I would still go with I think Josh Norris. I don't know between him and Shane Pinto, but next season I'm gonna go with Josh Norris. He's really responsible defensively, good positioning. For a 22-year-old player, his defensive game is really good, and he's still we've seen him hit his great shot last season. Very powerful, very precise. He was great on the power play. So I think he's for me a clear cut for the Selke, but I really like your former Renton answer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with Vezina because I know you guys are gonna say Hellbuck and we just move on.
Oh yeah, that's good.
What do you mean? Eric Comrie is gonna just do great, right? Wait, this isn't 2013-14 again?
But for Ottawa, I would say Gustafsson.
Same.
Yeah. MVP. Okay.
Oh wait, for next season?
No, we're going like right now.
Okay, yeah, it's Gustafsson. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because next season I don't think he's gonna play in the NHL. But right now, it's Gustafsson for sure. He was our most consistent goalie last season. Matt Murray was injured. Forsberg, short sample size, and Gustafsson just played better than him. So yeah.
For MVP for the Jets, if we were talking like this last year, next year, whatever. Like it's kind of not that I hate this question, but our MVP until he dies is Connor Hellebuyck. Like people just kind of underrate how much the team relies on him. But if that's to me the obvious answer, so I'm going to go with Nikolai Ehlers instead. But it's really Hellebuyck. Like, I don't know.
See, James, you know my rant on the MVP award?
Yes.
So, but aside from Hellebuyck, I was going to say Ehlers. You look at how the team played when he was injured in the playoffs. It's a much different team when he's on the ice. Like, he's an unofficial leader of the team. I say unofficial because he doesn't have a letter on his jersey.
You need to strut him out with a letter next season, like they do.
Oh, straight up, like because you can have 3 assistants, right? I swear Edmonton has like 3
assistants if you have no captain.
Oh well, yeah. I don't know. Then we have to remove Josh Morris, DJ,
and put it on Ehlers.
Well, while Scheifele's suspended, okay, only for that 2-game stretch. Okay, that's the only time I'm cool with because Scheifele's future captain. Okay,
and then
I don't want Scheifele to be our captain.
Our MVP has to be Brady Tkachuk, James.
I'd say Tkachuk, like it has to be. Like he's the heart and soul of the team. Like
exactly.
You think of Ottawa, I think the first thing you think of is Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
He's the face of the franchise. And when you think about most valuable player, he brings everything to the table. Brady Tkachuk, he's going to fight for his teammate. He's going to be physical, get in front of the net, score goals. He can take good face-offs on a power play and everything. He really brings everything. Yeah. He's a great leader. He brings his teammates to the battle every single night. I'm hoping he gets this. He gets this.
Should get to see. Yeah.
But remember when Milnick said, "I don't want a captain on a short-term deal." What if he signs 3 years?
Says a lot of things though. Like Milnick doesn't name the captain though.
He kind of does. It's him and Dornan.
He can, but like generally the GM names the captain. The GM and the coach name the captain.
Yeah.
So like and Tkachuk also raised about how much he loves Ottawa. Like he raised how much he loves the city, loves the people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what you kind of look for in a leader as well. Like you, And now these are 2 ones. These are not official awards, but they're my awards. Who's the most overrated player on the Jets?
Kyle Connor.
Okay. I was gonna say Kyle Connor, but I know you like him, so I didn't want to be mean. But it's Kyle Connor for sure.
I love him, but it's true. Like he's I love him, but like you said in the other TikToks, he's basically an empty net specialist. And I thought about it, and I'm like, that is a painfully true statement. But
it's so tough because like
he's a great player still, though. But he's over. Yeah, but he's at this point
because people treat him like the player that I'm not going to be able to phrase this properly. They use him wrong. If they used him right, then he would be accurately rated. But people are talking about how good he is and stuff. I'm like, actually watch him. Like he has never won a puck battle on the boards in his life. If he doesn't,
awesome.
Like he's not actually that fast. I don't know why people think like he's a little bit slower than people. I don't know. Just like there are a couple little things that people consider him to be like a top whatever player. I don't know.
He has a great initial burst of speed. Like his get off is fast, but it's not sustained. He's not a speedy guy like Ehlers. But I love
Adam Lowry is a faster skater than Kyle.
Right, Phil.
I'm a faster skater.
I'm gonna let you go first. I can't choose right now.
Over to put it on the Sens.
Yeah, because
Like,
it's hard to say.
Like, if you said last year, I maybe would have said like Anisimov because, or Dadonov. He was last year. They're both gone now. So
where did Anisimov go?
He's just gone. I think. Yeah.
He went to Russia. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Connor Brown gave him a hug on his last game. It was kind of sad. But it's hard to find an overrated player on the Sens because every single player that people say are good are actually pretty good. Like Tim Stützle, Josh Norris, Jake Batherson. It's really hard to find one.
I mean, you could say Stützle. Like, I hate to say that though, but
I'm not ready to say it at 19 years old.
I'm not ready to say it either. 19 years old too. So you could say Shabbat a little bit as well.
Yeah, actually, you could actually say Shabbat. But the only thing is people are usually talking about how he makes big mistakes in big moments, but he's playing like 32 to 35 minutes a night. So
Shabbat is the defense. Like, yeah, I mean,
and he's also only like 20 some years old, if that early 20s.
24. Yeah.
Oh, mid 20s, okay, but he's still a young player.
But yeah, like I said,
like when
his
you're
defensive
playing
game
like 2 periods of hockey a night, like just yourself, you're gonna be tired.
He's also a high event player, right? So it's like then the things that he does well are going to be blatant, but the things that he does wrong are going to be blatant too. It's like there are a lot of players who are low event, and that's the issue I have with a lot of the Jets defensemen. They're low event, so people don't notice how terrible they are, like positionally and all the little things they do wrong. Someone like Thomas Chabot, from my outsider perspective, doesn't do a lot of things wrong, but when he does, they're big because that's the type of game that he plays.
Yeah. And I think DJ is going to give more minutes to Del Zotto next season. So
we have 7 left-handed D on the roster now.
And DJ hates to put left-handed D on the right. So what are we gonna do? I actually don't know. And they want to move Brandstrom out of the top.
That's why there's the Brandstrom trade rumors. So
yeah, I would hate that so much.
Just rewire every one of your defenseman's brain to be ambidextrous.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, that's the easy solution.
All right. Yeah, so I would say it was Shabbat, but like I mean, I hate to say it though because like I love Shabbat, but like. You think about it, I've had people say, oh, he's top 10 defense. I'm like, no. I say he's top 20, top 15. I could go there, but he's not top 10.
Like in the league?
In the league, yeah.
Oh, no, he's not top 10 for sure.
All right. And now, who's the most underrated player on the Jets?
Connor Hellebuyck. Until he's the best player goalie in the league, he's underrated. Like, I can't do it anymore. I'm so tired.
Yeah, for me, it's going to be either Helly or Pionk. Okay. Like, Pionk doesn't get the recognition he deserves.
And Dylan DeMello. Dylan DeMello is underrated, too, because he's so stinking good. Like, he's so stinking good. Like, everything he does right. But, okay, That's a very typical Alyssa answer. Maybe we'll also go with David Gustafson. David Gustafson is really good, and I think
for a prospect, yeah.
Yeah, I really do like Gustafson. I think he's going to be a stud.
He was a draft steal.
Yeah.
And also he's one of those guys, like a lot of times with your good draft picks, they all have to come in, and if you want them to succeed, they have to play in your top 6. He doesn't. He could be a career 4th liner and be like insane at it. And I'd rather have that than sign your Nate Thompsons and your Chris Tierney's every single year. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I have like 2 guys in mind. Austin Watson, I think no one talks about him enough. No one gives him enough recognition for how much of a warrior he is, blocking every single shot, fighting. He doesn't know how to fight, obviously. He's going to grab the guy's shirt and just stay back like this. He's going to be scared to fight, but he still drops the gloves. He's physical. He's going to block the shots. And I do not think he gets the recognition he deserves. And also I have Victor Mete.
My boy.
Mete.
No, another guy that no one talks about like for a third pairing, he's really good. I know he's small, but he's fast. He can carry the puck, good in transition. And with a big guy like Josh Brown, I think he can be really good, or even Michael Vilzotto. We'll see who he's getting paired with next season. But yeah, I think he's really underrated.
And you picked him up for free, so.
Yeah, I did not understand when Montreal put him on waivers.
The obvious answer people could say is Connor Brown, because I don't think Connor Brown gets the recognition he deserves. But like, I'm gonna say I think I agree with the Mete take and the Watson take, because I think Watson is when he's on the ice, you can feel a presence on the ice when he gets on. He's this big physical guy he's like a low key Brady Tkachuk.
Yep. Maybe less offense.
But I'm gonna say Formenton. People don't understand how fast Formenton and how good he is on the penalty kill.
He's got McDavid speed.
Yeah, he has McDavid speed. Yeah. So I would say Formenton.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to have a breakout season.
Because my opinion of Formenton has changed from the beginning of last year to now. Because last year, I did not like Formenton. I didn't think he'd be an NHL player. And then when I saw him play this year in the NHL, my opinion changed.
Mm-hmm. He proved to be ready.
Mm-hmm. All right. And now, I know it's been a long episode, but now our last and final thing, advanced stats versus the eye test.
This was one of my questions.
All right.
So I think
everyone just say your stance.
Here's my stance. It's a dumb debate because they're both useful. Yes. There should never be one or the other. And if you don't know how to use one or don't know how to use the other, then you're not evaluating the game properly.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my point.
Right.
I agree. I think you just need both.
Yeah.
See, I didn't know much about advanced stats, but I do, I'm learning. But I do know the eye test as I've been around hockey. I've played goalie for over 10 years. And so I know hockey, I plan on coaching it. So I rely on the eye test a lot, but it's not to say that advanced stats aren't useful. It's just I personally rely on the eye test for a lot of things. I want to learn more about advanced stats. As I just look at a J Fresh card, and at first I was like, wait, what? But then my friend Mateo helped me out and kind of still learning it. But
I think the thing is if your eye test is good, usually it matches up decently well. It's not always going to be the exact same, but I know for myself, I don't use advanced stats for the Jets because I watch them all the time. But I don't know how anyone can think that their eye test of some player that they play once a year is better than math that calculates all the kinds of shots, shot attempts, possession time, whatever. It's how is one game that you watched going to be any better than that collection of a larger sample size? I've never understood that. People are Oliver Ekman-Larsson doesn't suck. Did you watch any of the Central Division this year? Have you watched him at all in the last 3 years? I don't know. I just think it's kind of wonky in that sense. But usually, if you're evaluating players the proper way, it's going to line up decently well with some stats.
Yeah. But I hate the people that. Sorry, James. I hate the people that will say this one player has ridiculously good advanced stats is better than Patrick Kane because he does this better. It's some players don't need to play well defensively.
Yeah.
Patrick Kane's garbage defensively, and advanced stats show that, and the eye test does. But he doesn't really need to play defensively when he's been over a point per game player his entire career.
You play defense when you have the puck all the time, and I think that's the difference. Nikolai Ehlers is not good at defense, but he always has the puck. Leon Draisaitl is not good at defense, but his possession numbers are kind of bad, which is why it translates so poorly on his defensive numbers. But his offensive impacts are still so great that it doesn't even really matter that much. But it's kind of interesting. But anyways,
and you're not putting Draisaitl out when you're heavily in the defensive zone. That'd just be a poor coaching decision.
He gets a lot of starts. That is correct. Yeah.
So it's
all right.
Sorry, James, if used correct.
Muted. There we go. I'll ask to
He can't unmute himself.
I muted him. What do you? Anyway.
You're lucky I like you, James.
Anyway.
You're lucky you're a friend.
Anyway. I'm not against advanced stats. I've done the eye test. That's how I've evaluated hockey my whole life. But I'm not against advanced stats. I'm against people who use advanced stats like they're gospel. If you get what I mean, people who use them saying Anthony Cirelli is the best player in the league because look at his advanced stats.
Wait, he isn't?
Oh, sorry,
he isn't?
Well, I think you need a mixture of both to really evaluate a player.
I just think they're really helpful when you're looking at player acquisitions. I know Anthony Cirelli, he was on a contract year last year, and I was I did not watch a lot of Tampa Bay games, so I'm not going to pretend everything I know about them was exactly right. So that I was looking at his numbers, I'm these are stinking good. I would be interested in bringing this guy in, whatever. But one thing people always talk about, they're people think advanced stats are gospel. There are some people that do. The people who do that are the ones who don't even fully understand them too. It's so funny. If you ever listen to J Fresh talk, he's Brady Tkachuk is 100% finishing on my model. I don't know why. It's kind of wonky. They all know that their models are a bit wonky because they take into account a lot of. So it's all kind of to be taken with a grain of salt and stuff. But there are a lot of guys out there that are Valerie Nichushkin, best player in the league. He has 98% defense. What? Okay. Yeah. But no, most people who come up with their own models and stuff like that don't even think that way. It's really just the weirdos on Twitter.
Yeah, but I agree with that. When we were in Christian Dvorak trade rumors, I had to look at advanced stats. I don't know the guy. I'm not gonna act like he's worth Brandstrom or he's worth a third round pick. I don't watch the Coyotes.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna start lying and say he's worth everything and he's the best center available for us. I had to look at advanced stats. But when it comes to Ottawa, I watch every single game. I watch every single player. I know what they're due. And to me, the eye test is more important for the Ottawa Senators. I think the advanced stats are a plus for me when I watch when it comes to Sens players.
Yeah, like if I want to know something, I want to know something about like the Minnesota Wild, and I don't know the player. I can look at the advanced stats and see.
You have to.
Yeah.
Because
advanced
they're more
stats
encompassing than goals and stuff like that, right? Like that's why. And one thing that bothers me too is that people always talk about how they're like a crock of shit. Like Corsi is my favorite example to use. People are like, I can't use Corsi. Like that's wrong. Do you know what Corsi is? Corsi is evening out per 60, like level playing field, so everyone is comparable the same way. Shot attempts for and shot attempts against. That is it. That's all that Corsi is. It's just an easier way to read it. So people are like, oh, it's BS. It's like, do you think this guy gets a lot of shots? Do you think he's good because he gets a lot of shots? There you go. That's Corsi.
I know.
You know how to use advanced stats now. Like,
I know it's a joke. I used to say, I don't believe in Corsi because it's 5 letters. Stats shouldn't have 5 letters in them. I think we're gonna end it off there. But before we go, I want to say we want to congratulate the women's national team on winning gold.
My girl, Maddie
Bring the gold home.
I love her. Oh.
To quote Shania Twain, "Let's go, girls."
And we hope to repeat at the Olympics because our girls are the best in the world at hockey.
Yep.
And you know it.
But that goal was extremely confusing. I was jumping in happiness, and they were still playing. Like what?
It was like the Patrick Kane
it's a goal.
It was like the Patrick Kane goal in 2020.
Yeah.
Sorry, Flyers fans.
It clearly went in. Like, come on.
Yeah. So
Sorry,
we're gonna let our guests take time to plug anything they want to plug now that we're ending the episode. So, Alyssa, you go first.
Sure. Okay. Well, just check out our podcast. Like we're Jet Centric podcast. That's us. That's how, I met James through TikTok because I made a TikTok account to try and get people to listen to our podcast, trying to be hip with the kids because my podcast is me and a bunch of 40-year-old men. So I was like, hey guys, we're going to try this out. And it's been really fun. So obviously check us out on TikTok at Jet Centric. It's really just me shit posting, but I'm a lot smarter on the podcast and a lot more active on Twitter. So Jet Centric on there. Check us out. And thank you, Riley and Jake, for having me.
No problem. Phil?
Our honor.
Phil.sens on TikTok, obviously, same for Twitter. The Future Sickos podcast. I've been recently asked to be a co-host on the podcast, so I'm going to start in early October. So yeah, you can check it out. Really good guys. It's going to be a fun podcast. I can't wait for the season to start. So yeah, Future Sickos podcast. Phil.sens on pretty much every platform. And yeah, thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no problem. Can't wait to listen to both your podcasts.
Yeah, I'll give your podcast a shout out. A listen to.
Once again, I am Leblock James. This is my show, the Leblockcast, with Riley.
I am Riley. I recently am getting into sports talk, Stanton
I'm not
Sports.
done shouting out my socials, Brad.
Mute him again.
We all know your socials, James. We all know your socials.
I'm Leblock James, Leblock_James on TikTok, Instagram, and I'm Leblock James official on Twitch, where I do stream. We do Jeopardy, which we're going to do very soon again. And I'm gonna switch over to my co-host to have him plug anything he wants to plug.
There. Okay. So Stanton Sports on TikTok, recently getting into hockey talk. Give it a follow. And shout out to my brother's hot sauce. Hold my beer hot sauce. And that is it.
All right. We are going to take you now to this is up next. We have a Come True by Left Hand Willie. Enjoy.
My
See ya.